When Imperial Japanese pilots first sighted the new American fighter climbing to meet them, they saw little cause for alarm. To their eyes, it lacked the sleek, exotic silhouette of their legendary Zero. It appeared bulky, unrefined, and deceptively ordinary. But in warfare, appearances can be fatal. Within a matter of months, this unassuming machine would dismantle Japan's veteran Air Corps and seize absolute dominion over the Pacific skies. Stay with us until the end to discover how the F6F Hellcat rose to become the most lethal, reliable, and respected fighter of the Pacific War, and why even Japan's most celebrated aces soon realized they were facing an adversary they simply could not defeat. The story begins in the shadow of catastrophe. In the early months of 1942, America was reeling. The wreckage of Pearl Harbor still smoldered, and the Mitsubishi Zero reigned supreme over the Pacific Ocean. While U.S. pilots in the older F4F Wildcat fought with desperate courage, holding their own in terms of raw firepower and armor, they were consistently outmatched in agility and climb rate. American aces struggled to close this deadly gap through sheer skill and the adaptation of survival tactics. But courage alone was not enough. American engineers demanded a superior solution. They meticulously analyzed every combat report and dissected the secrets of a captured Zero, asking a single, driving question: how do we destroy this enemy with maximum efficiency? Their answer was a machine engineered not for aerodynamic elegance, but for total victory. The result was the F6F Hellcat, a massive, rugged, and brutally efficient fighter, built to win wars rather than beauty contests. Forged specifically for the harsh realities of the Pacific, the Hellcat was designed around the immense Pratt and Whitney R-2800 engine. This power plant gifted the aircraft with the ability to climb rapidly, dive with punishing speed, and endure damage that would disintegrate a Zero. It was neither light nor delicate. It was a flying tank. Heavy armor plating shielded the pilot. Self-sealing fuel tanks prevented catastrophic explosions, and 6 .50-caliber machine guns lined its wings. Every square inch of the fuselage screamed survivability. Where the Zero danced with lethal grace, the Hellcat stormed into the fray, delivering firepower with devastating precision. When Grumman test pilots compared the two aircraft, their assessment was stark. The Hellcat forgives your mistakes. The Zero seldom does. By mid-1943, the Hellcat was ready for war, entering combat over the Solomon Islands. It was flown by young, often untested U.S. Navy pilots, while their Japanese opponents were hardened veterans of China, Pearl Harbor, and Midway, the best aviators in the world. As the conflict continued, the balance in aerial engagements began to shift. The Hellcat gave American pilots the ability to break away from threats, climb more efficiently, and withstand damage better than the Zero. In tight, maneuver-based encounters, the Zero still had certain advantages, but American pilots had adapted. They applied refined tactics, gaining altitude, making quick offensive passes, then disengaging without remaining in prolonged turns. These tactical improvements produced clear results. Over the following months, Hellcat crews recorded a significantly higher success rate in encounters with opposing aircraft. The day the skies truly changed came in 1944. The Hellcat faced its ultimate test during the Great Marianas Turkey Shoot. Over the Philippine Sea, more than 400 Japanese aircraft launched to halt the American invasion fleet. Waiting for them were hundreds of Hellcats, flown by disciplined, battle-hardened American pilots. The encounter resulted in a frenzy of destruction. Wave after wave of Japanese planes fell in flames. By sunset, nearly 350 enemy aircraft had been destroyed, compared to the loss of only a handful of U.S. fighters. It was the moment Imperial Japan's air power was effectively broken. The Hellcat had accomplished what no other aircraft had managed. It wiped out Japan's veteran air force almost in a single day. It solidified its reputation as the workhorse of victory, becoming the undisputed backbone of American carrier aviation. The Hellcat was simple to maintain, easy to fly, and rugged enough to survive the brutal, corrosive conditions of the Pacific. Pilots loved it, mechanics trusted it, and commanders depended on it. It operated from swaying carrier decks, isolated island bases, and even emergency strips hacked out of coral reefs. By 1945, the Hellcat was credited with destroying more than 5,000 Japanese aircraft, a record almost no other Allied fighter in history has surpassed. It was never as flashy as the Mustang, nor as menacing in appearance as the Corsair. It was simply the dependable warrior, the machine that never quit. Even the enemy offered a grudging respect. Captured Japanese pilots admitted that the Hellcat was the fighter they feared most, calling it the machine that never falls. One ace recalled that upon seeing a Hellcat approaching, he knew escape was unlikely. Its speed, climb rate, and unshakable stability in a dive made it nearly unstoppable. Even as Japan introduced newer, advanced aircraft like the Ki-84 and N-1K, they could not match the Hellcat's winning combination of durability and firepower. The war in the air had turned irrevocably, and it was the Hellcat leading the charge. By the end of World War II, the F6F Hellcat had achieved one of the most staggering records in aviation history. 19 out of every 20 aerial victories claimed by the U.S. Navy were scored by Hellcats. It was a silent Terminator, not famous for its style, but for its results. It never possessed the glamour of the Mustang or the mystique of the Spitfire, yet it crushed every enemy it met. When peace finally arrived, thousands of Hellcats were parked in rows, their work finished. But for the men who flew them, the aircraft remained more than metal and rivets. It was a symbol of endurance, of teamwork, and of a time when technology and training combined to turn the tide of war. For the pilots who once faced it, the men who watched that dark blue silhouette emerge from the clouds, it was a stark reminder that America's industrial and human power could not be outflown. This is a true World War II story, proving that sometimes relying on simple, basic principles of engineering and survival can determine the outcome of a battle. Do you agree? Let us know in the comments and subscribe for more true World War II stories.